it's been a beautiful Sabbath here in San Antonio, Texas. You know, one of the things, CA, that I was concerned about was the heat. And we have not had unbearable heat.
No, we've gotten to, I think, the low 90s each day. Humidity high, but not unbearably high.
Right.
If you stayed out in the sun a long time, you probably felt it. But just for going from the car to your, not too bad. So the Lord was very, very kind heat-wise.
You know, I made the walk from the Dome over to this building today.
Mm-hmm.
When you make that back road where you come under the tents, if they'll let you make that road, sometimes they try to detour you, but it's really not all that bad if you can come from that direction.
If you can stay in the shade, you can duck from the tents under the hotel where you do park your car, you kind of ease your way back through and get in that first set of doors into this building. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad. And Jim, what a day to be in church.
Oh,
my soul.
It was.
And we'll bring you a lot of this footage at our 9 o'clock. So you've got to be sure for our 9 o'clock nightlight. We've got that 102-year-old treasurer. That we got some Falkenberg coming up. But to sit in there, and I know you were in the almost directly across from that choir.
Yes.
And they were saying when that choir kind of struck up this morning, it rattled the windows where you guys were.
It was unbelievable.
Powerful.
It really was unbelievable.
Yeah. Our guys are actually putting all of this footage together so that we can show it to you tonight. We had a lot of footage. Elder Wilson did a powerful message, Jim.
Yeah.
Very on point. G.T. Ing's introduction of him was more like a roast than an introduction. It was so funny and so right on. He said that Elder Wilson had three daughters.
I would never let that man introduce me. One thing is he upstages you so bad that you have a very difficult time overcoming it. And second, they're telling what he's going to say.
I think he said something to the effect he's got 3 daughters, but it's not too late. Abraham and Sarah were 170, and 75 respectively. So it's not too late.
No, somebody said to me he could have been a stand-up comic. I said, "What do you mean could have been?" He was doing stand-up, and he was
functioning in his calling.
His timing is very good.
It's very. You wouldn't expect, because you expect, and not trying to profile, but you expect Asians to be a little soft and kind of quiet. But this guy, you get a microphone in front of him, and he is a hoot.
I want to visit with him because I'm interested in where he's been. I wish we could interview him.
He is the one officer that we haven't been able to get because during these meetings he is so tied down. Once the president is elected and goes to the nominating committee, he gets some free time. The same with the treasurer. Once he got his treasurers in for the divisions, he said, I can breathe now. But G.T. Ing is kind of on the whole time, and then he preached last Sabbath.
Right.
So he's the one officer we just weren't able to book time with, but we'll have to do that.
Everything that has been put together has to be organized now into proper minutes. And that is the work of the Secretariat.
Yes. Then I did not know until some time ago that his office is also in charge of the mission outreach of the General Conference.
All right.
So he's got a pretty full plate, and he just never came up for air the whole time.
No.
But we've got to get a microphone because he is just a scream. The music was good. The orchestra, I think 100 pieces or so. 1,100 singers, just powerful. Now, I am told, Jim, that the Dome holds 65,000.
Yes.
I would say 60 or so inside, 10,000 outside.
Well,
and
the turnstiles gave us a number.
Ah, did they?
Yes, and it was 65,000 plus.
There you go.
Because we don't get everybody sitting down.
Right.
And plus, we have the floor. You see, normally when there's something going on in the stadium, they're not putting people on the floor. That's where the players are.
You're right.
So you could, when you see that, you immediately have somewhere between 10, 12,000 at least on the floor.
On the floor.
I mean, there's every bit of that many on the floor.
Yeah.
And so the turnstiles are where you get your numbers.
As you get your numbers.
And they said it set a record. I don't know this officially yet, but unofficially, it set a record for the number of people to go through the turnstiles in that stadium.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. And I guarantee you 4,000 to 5,000, maybe more outside.
Oh,
just in the halls. I just walk in the halls. Never got in to sit down.
Then you've got children's meetings. You've got youth meetings. And then I am going to have to tell you that a lot of our people, particularly those who were working the exhibits, they watched on television because the traffic was so bad. The traffic was so bad today that Danny was not able to find, when he got there, he couldn't park. I got a call from, this is just kind of a little sidelight. I got a call from Brad Thorpe this morning, and he said, I'm inviting you to come over. And now this was about 45 minutes before I was supposed to be there. And I'm still out at the hotel. And he said, I'm inviting you to come over and to have a welcome to the program with me on the Hope Channel. And I said, all right, I'll be happy to do it. I'll be there. What time you want me? He said, I want you there at 10:28. I look at my watch. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's like a quarter to 10.
Now, on a normal day, you could do that.
Yes.
You could pull that off.
Well, you know, on an abnormal day, I pulled it off. But it was not easy. But I want to tell you what I had to go through. And this may not be interesting to some of you, but if you've been here.
Yeah, you got to live through this stuff. Yeah.
So I'm driving. I've got Ben with me, my grandson. And I go flying down the road somewhere between Law and Grace. And I get down to the exit for the Alamo, because I'm not going to go all the way down.
Right.
I know I'm never going to get off there.
No, you'll never make it.
So I hop off. No, actually, I did go to Commerce. I'm sorry. I my first thought was to get off at the Alamo. I said, no, I'm going to try Commerce and then turn left, because you can turn left. It's two-way.
Yeah.
From that point on down, it becomes one way. All right, I turn left. Immediate gridlock.
Wow.
And I think there's no way I'm going to get there. So I keep trying to get there. I keep driving. And I tell Ben, I got to have my pass out of the back of the car. I said, when I stop, I want you to jump out, run around to the back, and get it. Well, Ben's got more sense than that. And he just keeps sitting there every time we stop. And I said, you know, we didn't have enough time. So, you know, I happened to, when they said something about patience, I didn't get that. I missed out on that. So we pull up to where they had stopped. The traffic had stopped. The light was red. I jumped out, flipped the little deal to open up the trunk, ran around to the back, got my briefcase, ran back to the front. By this time, cars are moving.
Yeah.
And Ben had evidently hit that button to close that deal. It did not close, and I did not realize it. So I gunned the car, because now there are many car links.
Right.
Yeah. I go
agitated.
flying through that intersection with two policemen there, and I had some bags in the back, one great big red bag, and it flies out right in the middle of the intersection.
Wow.
Here's my bag out there. I mean, this thing is full of everything, dirty clothes and everything else, because I had it in the back to put it on the truck to go back so we didn't have so much luggage.
Yeah.
I'm telling you something. He blew his whistle. I had to stop in the middle of traffic. And I ran back, or Ben ran back and got it. And then I said, I got to back up, because I was supposed to turn right there in that intersection. Now I'm beyond it.
You're right.
I didn't just do a dumb thing. Now I got to back up. So I told the guy, I said, I got to back up. And Ben yelled, I got to back up. So he held the traffic.
Oh, he did?
He held the traffic. I back up. I'm telling you, these officers have been so nice here.
Yeah.
And this guy yelled at me. Now, see, I'm renting a car that has Arizona plates on it.
Right.
That's a rule that I violated, because I almost never rent a car with out-of-state plates.
Yeah.
It indicates you are a visitor, and it makes you a target. So you have to be careful. A lot of people get, knocked in the head because people think they're from out of state and so forth. All right. I back up through the intersection, and I get ready to make my right. And he comes over and said, "Yeah, you Arizona people, I tell you, I knew that they did." I said, "Hey, I hate to tell you this, but I'm a born and bred Texan." Oh, he said, "That's worse." And he had a great sense of humor. I turned, drove down to almost to the front of the Alamo Dome.
This is hilarious.
The Alamo Dome.
This is a comedy routine.
All right, now I'm telling you, I'm not going to make it in there. I get to the Alamo Dome, and you know what happens? Ben lets me out. We still got a way to go. I know that by the time I get there, I'm going to be so sweat.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be terrible. Here comes a guy in a rickshaw. You know, those bicycle pulling those rickshaws.
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, will you take me up there?" I said, "Yeah. How much do you charge?" He said, "Just whatever you feel like giving." He shouldn't have told me that because I didn't feel like much, but unfortunately, he turned around. I jumped in, and he goes bicycling and takes me right to the front door.
Oh, praise
I
the Lord.
jump out. I should have given him more, but the first thing I found was a $5 bill. I gave him $5. Should have probably doubled it, but my conscience bothers me. But still, I gave him a $5 contribution, and then I went fly. He did more for me than anybody passing the plate today.
Sure.
So I went inside. And then I go to the elevator, and the line is so long you can't get in the elevator. And I look at those steps. I've never seen so many steps going up to the second floor in my life.
Like climbing the Statue of Liberty is really impressive.
Man, I mean, you go way up, and then you go up again. And by the time I got there just before we went on the air. But the Lord helped me make it.
Amen.
I went through all that. Then Ben couldn't find a place to park. He had to come all the way back over here and put it in this.
Now, was that A, parking lot A? Because that's the one that's behind the stage where you came in yesterday. Was that?
He went around there. I'd let him out. We got out at the front.
Okay.
There was nothing. Danny went to that parking lot around the back. Mm-hmm. They would not let him park.
Wow.
He had to come back over to the hotel here to park. And then he had to get Garland to pick him up and drop him off.
Wow.
And Garland got into gridlock, and he couldn't make it, and then he got out and walked. And walked to the place.
Yeah.
So this was, you cannot believe how the traffic was here.
Yeah, I got in 7:40, 7:45, and you could see it coming.
Yeah.
Because usually I can park in lot C, which is around the other end, the backside, first or second parking spot.
Yeah.
By 7:40, the lot is half full, and the line is out, down, around, hooking back, up, back onto Dolorosa, which is, now you're talking mile and a half.
Yeah.
And they're moving as fast as they can, but there were a lot of people in there today.
Well, when you did get in, you were blessed.
Oh, it was worth it.
It was a blessing to be in that auditorium. But now on my way back, because I had to walk all the way back,
bless your heart,
I went by the cafeteria. And you think that I have never seen so many people in a cafeteria in my life.
Yeah.
And now I haven't been able to talk to anybody about the food, but Jill did.
She surely did.
And we've got a report, and one of you had written to me and said, how do they feed so many people? Now, many people just eat on the street, go into restaurants, little Guadalupe across the street, Guadalajara. Yeah, Guadalajara. Guadalajara. I knew it was Guadalajara something. And Guadalajara is just packed out with our people.
Yeah, because it's the closest.
There is not a single person in there except up at the bar that is not with us.
Now, I'll tell you something else.
We almost had to sit at the bar the other day.
Subway. 40-minute wait most of the week.
Oh, my.
40-minute wait at Subway.
Subway and Olive Garden are the two Adventists. The Adventists should have bought stock.
Well, if you wanted Subway this week, you had up to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And as the week progressed and more Adventists came in, because a lot of people that I talked to were driving in from Houston, Dallas, Austin, and just getting rooms.
Oh, and they got here today, boy, I tell you.
Because all of the international people were here already.
Yeah.
So these were local Texans coming across
state. And I
state.
thought they'd be here last week because of July 4 weekend.
Yeah.
No, they were out somewhere to picnic.
Right, they were this weekend.
They had decided, all the Texans decided to come the last Sabbath.
They came the last
were here
Sabbath.
from all over the state.
Mm-hmm. And I saw when the guy said, "You know how long I waited for this sandwich?"
Yeah.
I waited an hour to get this.
How much do you want to sell it for? Yeah.
How much is lettuce worth for you? Because this is an hour worth of sandwich right here.
Well, let's take a look at Jill's report of the cafeteria.
Let's do
right?
it already.
Thank you, Pastor Jim and Pastor C.A. I'm standing here on the floor of the cafeteria. I guess we could call it a cafeteria, maybe a makeshift cafeteria for the delegates and guests and all kinds of people. And I just ran into Jeanette Jump, and she is in charge of all the food here at GC. So tell me, Jeanette, how did you get roped into this job?
Georgie Guaki and Sherry Clemmer came to me one day and said, what do you think about helping us with GC session? And it was like, okay, sure, bring it on. And just the thought of having the challenge of being a part of this was so, my heart was like pitter patter, yes. I've always wanted to do it. I love food, I love people, and sometimes the GC food is not as exciting as people want it to be, and I wanted to change that. My goal was to just make people happy, because food is so important.
So what's your menu? What would people expect if they came and ate the food here?
We have 320 countries here, and every single one of them likes food. So taking that into consideration, the majority of people eat rice. I always have rice and beans at every meal. And then we have the Europeans, the Russians, they love their potatoes. So if you're thinking crazy starch here, it's choices. I have just tried to give them choices.
It's a buffet then.
It's a total buffet. You can come in here and eat as much as you want, as long as you want, and then I kick you out at 2 o'clock.
That's my kind of place. Eat as much as you want, as long as you want. That's great. How many people do you serve? How many people come through the line every day?
It's approximately 7,800 that we serve from one main kitchen, the chefs, and then we have these secret tunnels that there's a part of it that goes to the dome for another group of people, and it's nominating committee, it's the group up there, 500 there, 354 there, and 250 for nominating committee, and another event. So it happens, we call it the biggest vegetarian restaurant in Texas.
I'm sure it is at the moment. Now, you have a lot of kids. I saw a lot of kids helping you. So,
the kids are amazing. Some people came to me and said, my kids don't have anything to do. What do you think? So you had to be 12 years old. You had to get your parents' signature and phone number in case anything happened to you. And we trained them, and it didn't take long because this is techie stuff. You get a scanner and you scan the ticket. So, and one ticket, one plate. So the kids have bonded so well. And they're having a blast. So we have about 14 kids at the stations, and when the crowds come, they whip them out. It's like 4,000 people we are serving in 30 minutes.
Now, they're just finishing lunch here because we can see some of the delegates and some of the people passing. They've already eaten lunch. They've had their fill. How many people do you have in the kitchen? How many under chefs doing the cooking and the chopping and the preparation?
We have hundreds.
Hundreds?
Hundreds. We have approximately 6 senior chefs, executive chefs that are the core people. And then there's the sous chefs and their prep chefs. And then we have all these amazing people that are serving in tuxedos and bow ties. And it's just been fun. It's like a really big get-together for the family of God.
Well, thank you, Jeanette, for sharing with our 3ABN family what you're doing here at the GC session. Thank you for feeding God's people.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yesterday, I spoke with Jeanette Jump, and she's the liaison between the General Conference and with all the food that's going on here. But today, we have the executive chef for all the food that's taking place here at the General Conference, and Thomas Gagliardi. Is that correct?
Yes, it's easier, Thomas G.
Thomas G, I like that. So tell me what it's like to coordinate food for all these people.
It's a lot of fun. It's nice to see it to come to fruition. It's a lot of ordering, a lot of planning, a lot of process, getting people in the right spots at the right times.
And how many sous chefs do you have? How many chefs and how many cooks in the kitchen?
We're a chef management team of 7-ish, and then we have we're running with about 40 cooks, and kitchen help right now.
And right now they're getting set up for lunch. You're going to be serving lunch here soon, and we can see the wait staff. How many wait staff are here?
There's 66 on the floor today, and then it's an exciting time. It's only 6,000 people.
Only 6,000. That would be stressful to me. So tell me, what type of food are you preparing? What different options do people have?
Well, today we're doing it's like a baked potato. There's a stew. There's lots of vegetables and lots of starches, beans and rice, and that's the basics of it.
And you have gluten-free options, or?
Everything except for the bread pretty much is gluten-free today, so just naturally.
So you do lacto-ovo vegetarian, you do vegetarian, you do kosher, you do what different options?
Oh, well,
as far as in general?
In general, we do it all. If you name it, we'll do it. Our backgrounds are very diverse in the kitchen here. We have, like I said, the chef team. I mean, I couldn't count the years of experience combined. So we've all seen different parts of the world, and we all bring it to the table when we need to. So.
That's wonderful. Well, the food is fabulous here. Thank you so much, Thomas, for sharing with our 3ABN family at home about the food here at General Conference. Pastor Jim and Pastor CA, back to you.
All right. Well, listen. That's a lot of food.
Yeah.
A lot of chopping up of stuff. and
a lot of people, and they did it every day, and they did it well.
Yeah.
We never had a chance to get over there because during eating times, we were either editing, grabbing somebody for an interview, or running down the street, so we just didn't have time.
We do not get to eat when everybody else does.
Yeah, I haven't eaten with my wife since we've been here.
No, nor have I eaten with Camille, except for breakfast in the little hotel. You get a free breakfast there.
Yeah, I didn't even get that because I had to get up to that early morning press briefing. But it's been, we've got one more show, and of course we've got a lot of roles tonight. We've got an old interpreter friend of yours. I really want to see that role. I have not seen it. A translator.
Although he is truly an interpreter.
I heard that.
Yeah, he changes everything I say.
You preach one thing and he says something else.
He's an interrupter. What really is great with this guy, and we'll talk about him tonight. I'm just, I learned to really preach with it, not just stand there like you see these guys do.
Yeah.
Run all over the place and yell and stop. And then he would run all over the place and yell and stop. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But he was so good, I'd start to look at him, wow, this guy is good. And but people that understood English, I remember one place, a PhD in English in Odessa came down and told me, he's not saying what you're saying. He says, I don't know if he even understands what you're saying or not.
Yeah, the evangelist fear.
Right.
You're preaching one sermon, he's preaching something
another.
else. Yeah.
But the people were being led to Jesus, and they were accepting the message.
Praise the Lord.
So I said, that's all right with me.
Praise the Lord, yeah.
Whatever he's doing.
Looking forward to that
working.
interview.
That's right.
Yeah, and then tonight, of course, as we mentioned, Elder Wilson saluted the former officers, Matthew Bediaco, G. Ralph Thompson, and Clyde O. Franz, 102 years old and sharp as a tack. Yeah. We're glad to show you that. And then we also said hello to Bob Falkenberg, who has some health challenges right now.
Right, he does.
So we'll take a look at that. We've got some other things. Look a little bit at the choir and the orchestra. We'll hear a little of Elder Wilson's sermon. You had an interview with Brad Thorpe today that we're going to play.
We did. Actually, Danny did. And it is very, very good. Danny and I were talking a little earlier. We're going to sit down and try to actually map out the entire history of television networks in the Seventh-day Adventist Church for posterity. There's sometimes confusion. 3ABN was in existence, I think it's 20 years before Hope Channel began.
True.
And so there was ACN, which is Adventist Communication Network.
I remember working with ACN.
But that was not a 24/7 deal. That was a project
ACN
thing.
began with First Wednesday, which was 1 hour on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock for many, many years. Carson Jordash and I had this grand idea of writing a book about the history of media broadcast and just never got to it. Yeah. So this is a great idea because time is slipping away and you need to catalog some of this stuff.
And I would like for us to do a television program where we actually talk about and then a written situation where we look at the history, just to keep things straight.
Yes.
So, because sometimes people get entirely confused. I had someone from the Hope Channel from the Philippines tell us Well, the Hope Channel was here years before 3ABN came, and I don't know how they got that idea.
yeah.
Now, it's not that it's a big deal, but we think that history needs to be
history needs to be told
correct.
correctly. Sure.
That's right, and
Sure.
that's all. So we're looking forward to doing that,
Yeah.
and we're going to try to do that along with Brad Thorpe.
That'll be
okay?
that'll be great.
And so
that'll
we
be
get
great.
that all together.
We get 10 minutes tonight of Elder Wilson's sermon. We will also replay Elder Wilson's interview with you and Danny and his prayer.
Can we get that in an hour? All this?
Hopefully we can. And then we want to also get Yvonne, I, and Pastor Loma Hang Sang. We did a little roll on that. So we've got some reviewing to do, some brand new material. We've got a lot to talk about tonight.
Right. I thought we might run long because the exhibits are open until 11.
Yeah, that's true.
And if we're not on the air, we got to go out there and start working.
Yeah.
And so it might be better just to
Such is your lot, my friend. You don't get
Just
to get
stay
away
here,
from
just-
it.
just
Indeed.
talk to the folks,
What it
you
simply
know.
means is we cannot pontificate. We have, as you say, pontificate. We need to
Yeah.
get to those roles and let the folks see. So we have to kind of keep our commentary a little short.
Well, the pontification is sometimes more enjoyable than some of the other things that we do.
For
And,
us, certainly, hopefully for those who are viewing. It's been a good run, and this has been a very momentous General Conference, and we've had some very high times, some times of trouble, but we've seen the church again exercise its franchise,
Oh, yeah.
work things out in a public and open and Christian manner, and Christ was glorified, I do believe.
I really do think that we've seen a lot of apprehension before Hump Day, which was Wednesday,
Yes.
but I see peace in the valley since.
Yeah.
And people putting their arms around each other and saying, we disagree on some things, but we agree on a whole lot more than we disagree
Amen
on.
and amen. There's something about worship, man, that stills the troubled waters.
Yeah.
Makes you feel good. And the worship experience today was simply exquisite.
It was.
And we were brought to the throne of grace.
I've never enjoyed music so much as I have in this General Conference.
And I know Camille likes good choral stuff, so I know she
Oh,
must have been
yeah.
in seventh heaven, if we can use that term,
She
just
was.
this morning. Yeah,
She
we
was.
praise the Lord
She
for it.
was.
Irma had her hands up, and I said, "What are you turning Pentecostal on
Yeah,
me?"
I will tell you.
she was just in heaven. She
She's been
loves
hanging
good
around
music.
Danny too much.
Yeah, maybe so. She had the hand up and she was
Yeah.
praising God. Well,
All
our
right.
time is getting away from us.
Yes.
We will be back at 9 p.m. Central. We'll look to see you there. We've got a lot of views, a lot of news, a lot of roles. God bless you. We will see you then.